is 17 and I'll be your YouTuber today. Welcome back to the channel. Good to have you here. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Black Prince and the FV-201A45, otherwise known as the Fighting Vehicle 201 Universal Tank. That is my cat. Please stop. And taking a look at the Black Prince as well. So these tanks, they're both Tier 7 British heavy tanks, and they both have similar play styles as far as your gun goes, since they do carry the same 17 powder Mark 7, whatever. But we're going to discuss which tank is better, which tank, in my opinion, performs better, as well as other aspects of the tanks that kind of define their play style as a whole. And the first, we're actually going to start off with the FV-201, as this is one of my, I'd like to say, favorite tanks. However, it's a hit or miss with me, because you have such a low damage, high DPM gun. Games can go two-sided for you. So on this video, we're on Fort Despair. We're going to go heavy side, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this tank. So starting off with your armor. Your armor is very, very, very It's It Stop, buddy. You cannot scratch up the furniture, please. Yeah. So you have 152 millimeters on your turret. You have a Centurion turret. So if that's explains anything to you, you have some weird angles that you can use to your advantage. You have decent gun depression. You have a very high DPM gun, and this 1952 keeps trying to pit maneuver me for some reason. You can play some funky angles with this tank. However, don't get too used to it, because obviously your gun depression isn't like that of a you know, you don't have a Cromwell gun depression, so you can't really work like super hard edge lines and ridge lines. So I'm trying to kind of wiggle my gun here, and it's not working too well. I'm trying to get down just a little bit because I don't want to get in front of that Vindicator, and I just can't. And this, ever since the buff, I might do a after the buff video for that VK. See, you can bounce stuff on like the sides of your turret there, and just if they hit an off angle. But otherwise, you should really watch your pokes, because you can get drained very quickly. I played a couple games with Anthenitos yesterday. We were in a VC, and we just had a blast. It's not too often I get to play with my subscribers, especially with a solid connection. So it was good to be able to VC and kind of talk and play the game at the same time. And but anyway, so this tank, it's really kind of troll, to be honest with you. A lot of people, they're just going to go right for your front of your tank. They can pen your upper glacis, no problem. They can pen your lower glacis, no problem. Anywhere, it's hard to side scrape the tank, but you can as well, just because of how flat your sides are. But 9 out of 10 times, they're going to pen the back of your tank because the armor flattens out. Well, obviously, it's all a flat. However, you get my point. Yeah, you can pen the sides. And my cat and my dog are fighting now. That's cool. Obviously, I'm trying to get some funky angles with them, and I hit the ground there, and it kind of pissed me off. See, this guy, the Predator, after the buff, was actually pretty good, too. I was glad that they buffed that. I mean, it's still a very... You don't have any good gun depression, so the tank can't really utilize everything it has going for it. But, off the top of your head, when you play this tank or play against it, it comes to the stores maybe like once a month. It normally comes around with the Australian tanks. That, or it comes with the Cromwell bundle. You never know. They throw it in every once in a while. You have decent mobility. What you have of the Black Prince is mobility. Your base speed is around 30. See, I'm going 31 right now. I'm kind of on the move. So with your tank, you have your base mobility, whereas the Black Prince has to use speed boost, the octane boost, or whatever it is, the big boost, to reach 30 kilometers per hour. So you have speed, you have good turret reverse, you have a good line of sight, and you have medium armor at tier 7. So you have a slow tank with medium armor, if that makes sense. So you don't have as good mobility as the VK would. For instance, they have a better gun than you. They have very good DPM, solid penetration, solid damage, whereas you're rocking 160, but you have a 3.3 or 3.2 second reload, depending on if you're using rammer or calibrated. For this game, I believe I was running rammer just because I was really curious as to how big the difference was. And with tanks like this that already have low, very low fast firing guns, your best bet's to run calibrated, because if you're not running calibrated, you lose out on so much additional damage that you can be farming off of your team. And that's kind of these playstyles. You can play super aggressive with Black Prince. And Thanatos does a very good job of displaying that and how aggressive you can be, and how you can face hug people. In this tank, since you have such an awkward armor profile, that flat 180 millimeters of armor on your front plate, that may seem like a lot, but it's flat. So people can load gold and go through that. People can load gold and go through that central plate that covers where the transmission would be between your two tracks there. That's going to be your weak spot. That's where everyone's going to want to pen you if they can't load gold and print that front. You have a very strong turret, but then again, the front of your turret's flat. People can hit the forehead of your tank and call it a day. This game I was rocking the WZ Blaze, kind of overlooked tank. It's kind of power crap for what it is now, but here you go. He's kind of wiggling, he's showing his sides. See? You can show your sides like that, and you can get some really good side scraping in this tank, whereas you can't with the A45. So what you can see is he's going to showcase this DPM by absolutely obliterating this. You can get very good, very fast, repetitive. He's going to go for the permatrack. He gets through the sprocket, and he goes through. So what you have with this tank is less mobility, better armor. You're sacrificing speed and mobility for solid armor with the similar gun. So I guess it's up to your playstyle. If you prefer slower, chunkier tanks that are very vulnerable to fast-firing, fast-moving tanks, such as LTTBs that you'll come in contact with, VK-28s that you'll come in contact at Tier 6, and even at Tier 8. This tank starts to become kind of irrelevant at Tier 8 because of its armor profile and its speed, whereas there's not too many tanks like that at Tier 8, unless you're like a super heavy, such as your T-28s, your T-28 prototype. Some of your bigger Tier 8 tanks, like your VK-168, however, that tank still has the armor profile to mess with you. He still has that high alpha gun that makes up for his lack of mobility, and you have other tanks like this at Tier 7 that don't have this high kind of DPM, but they have the armor that is the quote-unquote meta of the game. You can really, really showcase how you're playing this tank with how he's doing it. And I think that's important to show, that even though this tank is overlooked and it's not played as much, I don't come across Black Princes that much. I think it's very, it's a very unique tank, especially when it comes to British tanks. You don't have many tanks like this in the game, where you have these quick-on flat sides like that. And obviously I'm going to have people in the comments going, oh, this, and this. But you don't have that style of tank. You have that playstyle present, but you don't have this kind of in-your-face tank. You can get away with face-hugging Annihilators in the Black Prince because you'll get gun block on most of them, so you'll bounce most of their shells. And you can really compare these tanks side by side. You get heavium armor with medium performance and a good gun, or you get heavy armor with a heavy performance with that slow, kind of methodical, aggressive playstyle, whereas you have your heavium side of the A45, and you can really pick apart enemies. You can move around the map kind of steadier, but you still have to be more careful because you don't have that kind of armor to keep you up as a failsafe. And I kind of hoped you guys enjoyed this review. It's a little shorter. It's just a basic, hey, what if kind of thing. So if you'd like to see more content like this, like and subscribe. Stay cool, stay frosty, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.